Good afternoon, fourth graders. Today we're going to use the shortcut method to solve problems. Okay, so by now we have learned all these different methods for finding the product of two factors, and we have an area model for 3 times 2,168. So we have methods A, B, C, D, and E that are all different ways to get us to the same product. So when I'm looking at these methods, I want to ask myself, what is similar? What patterns do I notice what are the same parts to each of these methods, or what do they have in common? And just by looking at it right away, I notice that each method, although it has its own way of solving the problem, each method has the same product or the same solution to this equation. In addition, each method has a set of partial products. In this case, method A is 6,000 plus 300 plus 180 plus 24. Method B still has, there's our 6,000, 300, 180, and 24. And method C has those same partial products, and along with D, which has reversed the order, but they're still there, 6,000, 300, 180, and 24. And E would be the only one that does not show. So something different in method E is it does not show the partial products, but if I look at it sideways, I can see some of those. In addition, we want to think about what is different. So again, methods C and D are similar in that they show the partial products, they're just in reverse order. So there's a difference there in the order of the partial products. One is going from greatest to least, the other is going from least to greatest. In methods A and B, again, those both use expanded form, but one is showing the equation for each partial product, and in method B there is no equation shown. So method E is also showing new groups above, whereas methods D and C show partial products. So there are some differences. Okay, so let's analyze the shortcut method. So we want to ask ourselves, what's happening in each step of these methods E and F? So let's look at the breakdown here, and as I look at each of the methods, I notice here in method E that step 1 is shown, which is multiplying the ones, 6 times 4, which gives me 24. Step 2, what's happening in step 2? It's showing the multiplication of the tens. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 2 more is 37, 38, which is shown as the new groups above. Step 3 is multiplying the hundreds, and step 4 is multiplying in the thousands. With method F, we're showing the multiplication of the ones just using a staircase method. Multiplication of the tens is going down like a ladder, and then multiplication of the hundreds, and then of the thousands. Okay, so let's round an estimate with thousands and hundreds next. So if I want to round this actual answer to see if it's, after I've solved this problem, I can see if my answer makes sense by framing the equation using, by looking at the thousands place. So I have 3,000 here, and I want to frame this problem by giving my two choices. So I could say that 3,692 is close to 3,000, okay, which gives me an estimate of 12,000. Or I could round up by saying 4 times 4,000, which gives me 16,000. So sometimes it's helpful to frame an answer to see if we're close. In this case, which estimate is actually closer to the solution? Well, if I look at the top example, 4 times 4,000, 16,000 is not very close to 14,000. but neither is 12,000 very close to 14,000. They're both about at least 2,000 away. So why is neither estimate close to this actual solution? Well, one reason is that neither that 3,692 is not very close to 3,000, and it's also not very close to 4,000. So when we multiply these amounts that aren't even close times 4, we magnify the difference 4 times. So as we're multiplying these amounts that aren't even close, it exasperates the problem. So there's got to be a better estimate that we can take. Okay, so there's a better way to estimate. So this method might be different than one you're familiar with, but it gives us a more accurate estimate. So one thing we want to start by doing is rounding the greater factor to the lowest 1,000. If you remember from the previous slide, our lowest 1,000 was 3,000. So we want to multiply 4 times 3,000, which gives us 12,000. Next, the problem asks us to multiply step 2 to estimate. We did that 4 times 3,000 gave us 12,000. Step 3 says round the hundreds in the original factor. So I know that I have 692. Now I want to follow my normal rounding rules, and I check next door. It's a 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tells me to climb. So instead of staying at 600, I want to round up to 700. So this becomes 4 times 700, which equals 28, plus I'll add the 2 zeros. Okay, my last step is to add each estimate. Okay, so if I add these together, I end up with 14,800. And if we think about it, is that closer to the actual answer that we got to begin with? Well, our original answer was 14,768 for the actual answer. Is that a lot closer? This looks like 14,800 actually gives me a much better estimate. That's pretty close. It's only, a couple units away. So that's a much better estimate. So today, boys and girls, I hope that you've learned that there are other ways that you can estimate to find a more accurate answer, and I will see you in class tomorrow.